Much welcome to our today's class. I'm Simon. I shall be taking you economics. We shall be proceeding on from where we were, that is on the determination of equilibrium. And just a small recap of what we did last class is that we were studying about the equilibrium, whereby we said that when it comes to equilibrium, it's a state of rest, is it? It's a state of rest, whereby there is something we call the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity. Are you together? We talked about it, whereby we said that at equilibrium, there is no excess demand and there is no excess supply. All that have been supplied into the economy is utilized appropriately, or it's being used by the consumer. So whatever the producers supply into the market, it is being bought by the consumer. And we as well further went ahead and we defined the types of the equilibrium, is it? We said that we have something we usually call a stable equilibrium, whereby regardless of the alteration, then it usually comes back to the equilibrium point, whereby I can remember us drawing, and there down, after drawing that curve, there down there was the excess demand, up there was excess supply. You can see that figure. I'm hoping you can see it in your mind. Then we talked about unstable equilibrium, whereby we were talking about a situation whereby even if we are talking about the issue to do with equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity, when there is some alteration of the equilibrium point, there is a further change. There is a huge change in the equilibrium price. And we said here down, there is excess what? Supply. And there up, there is excess what? Demand. And one of the things that we said include or some of the examples that we give was a given good. Do you remember that? Yes, a given good. We further communicated about the effects of shifts of demand and supply, whereby we talked about the rise in demand. That is when now the demand curve shifts to the right side. Right together? Yes. And we also talked about a fall in the demand. Before we go to the fall of the demand, when we are talking about the issues to do with the rise in the demand, we said that the immediate effect shall be shortage. Is it? There shall be shortage of the quantity in the what? In the economy, as well as an increase in the price. Is it? Yes, I can remember that. We further communicated about fall in the demand, and when we are talking about the fall, it's a shift in the demand curve to the left. Is it? It's a shift to the left. And we talked about a situation whereby now some of the immediate effect shall include, number one, there shall be surplus. Is it? There shall be surplus. And number two is that there shall be fall in the surplus, as well as the fall in the prices, as well as decrease in the quantity supplied, and thus a new equilibrium will have to be created. I'm hoping that we are learning, is it? We are running, yes. Then we talked about the issue to do with the shift in the supply, whereby we were talking about the fall in the supply. And when we talked about the fall in the supply, it is the opposite of that, of the demand curve. Like when we say the fall in the demand, some of the effects or the immediate effect shall be increase in the price, then there is shortage, then there shall be fall in the quantity demanded because of the increase of the price. Are you together? Yes, yes. I believe you are checking that we are whatever we wrote or whatever you have been learning is appropriate. Is it? Yes. And we said that when we talk about the fall or the decrease in the supply, it shifts to the right side. Is it? Yes. And then we communicated about the increase in the supply, whereby we said that that increase is the shift to the right side. Is it? And some of the immediate effect is that there shall be surplus in the economy. Two, we talked about there shall be increase in the quantity demanded as a result of the fall in the price, meaning that automatically a new equilibrium shall be formed. And lastly, we talked about the multiple shifts. You can remember that, the multiple shifts. Yes, the multiple shifts. We further communicated about the price controls. And we talked about, and I can remember saying that when you're talking about the price control, that is a deliberate or an act by the government to dictate the price that the various commodities shall be in the market. And we talked about some of the reasons of the price controls. You see, number one we talked was consumer protection. Is it? Whereby now we have to see that our consumers are not exploited. Thank you. Then number two, we talked about something we said is producer protection. The government should make sure that the producers are earning something. And number three, I can remember us talking about the price stability. Is it? So we should ensure that there is price stability in the economy. Then number four, I can remember us saying that there is this issue of prevention of inflation. Is it? Prevention of inflation, such that remember that the inflation, we shall discuss it further, but generally when you're talking about the inflation, it's the persistent increase in the general prices of goods and services. So the government can try to come with deliberate measures to solve the inflation perspective. And lastly, we talked about the industrial piece, whereby the government is trying to ensure that there is no strikes or there is no that unrest, you see, or demonstrations in the economy. We further communicated about the issue to do with the maximum price control or price ceiling. And we said that when you're talking about the price ceiling, this is a situation whereby now the government come up with a price that is below the equilibrium price. Is it? Meaning that the immediate effect shall be excess what? Excess demand, reduction of the supply, reduction of the price, shortage, and thus a new equilibrium shall be formed. Is it? Yes. Then we talked about the other effects of the price ceiling. The price ceiling. Ceiling, we say that you cannot go above that price. Is it? You cannot go above that price. Then other effect was like the rise of the black market, whereby there is illegal what? Illegal prices. And we give a good example of what happened there a month to our general election of 2022. Then chronic shortage, there was shortage issues, we talked about it. Then increase in the cost of efficiency in the production, as well as the low investment. We further communicated, did we talk about the minimum price controls or price floors? Yes, we talked about the price floors, and flow, it's like this flow, whereby now we said that the equilibrium price is down there, but you cannot go beyond there, you see? Are you together? So there is a minimum price control such that you cannot go beyond there. And the immediate effect shall be, there shall be excess supply, there shall be issues to do with the shortage of the demand, as well as surplus, increase in prices. Yes, those are the new issues that shall be happening. And other effects of price floors. We talked about the other effects of price floors. Yes, we talked about a situation whereby now there shall be case of minimum wages, that is, they shall be increased so as to cater with their current living standard. Then some producers may be willing to dispose of other products, as well as the issue to do with the production or a reduction in demand, excess supply, the issue of producers' income will have to have a stabilizing effect. Is it? We were there. Disadvantages of price control. We talked about them. We said that one of the disadvantages include that is rise of shortage. Is it? There shall be shortage. Like for instance, when we're talking about the maximum price control, then there shall be shortage. Then we have expensive to enforce. Then excess supply, or there shall be surplus. That's wastage. Then it's closure of efficient funds. I can remember that. Last year we talked about the shift of resources. I believe we were on the price liberalization. Is it? Or price decontrol. Price decontrols. Or price liberalization. And we said that price control, it is a mechanism whereby now the government entity or there is fixing of prices. Is it? Fixing of the prices. But when you're talking about the price decontrols or price liberalization, this is a situation now whereby now it's those steps taken whereby now we are moving from controls to decontrol or non-control, whereby now we are moving now the economy from a fixed price economy to an economy whereby now the prices are being determined by the forces of the market. Are you together? Yes. So you're saying that now it's now moving whereby now the prices is determined by the market forces. Market forces. The forces of the market now, they are the ones which are now determining the issue to do with what? The prices. And such transaction will have the following consequences. Assuming now we are moving now from a price controlled entity to a price that is not controlled at all. You see? Yes. And so some of the effects include the following. Number one, assuming that there was minimum price control, of course now the immediate result shall be increase in the prices. Is it? Increase in prices. Of course now the producers, because probably they were producing sometimes almost to a rush or a rush. Then they will tend to increase the prices of the commodity, whereby we were saying that when we were having now the price control. Two is that there shall be increase in the investment, increasing investment. Of course, me as an investor, I will tend to invest into a situation whereby I'm gaining something. Is it? I'm gaining something. But when there is a situation whereby now I'm not gaining due to the controls by the government, you see, then I will not invest. But when now the economy is now free, you see, the forces of the market or the economic aspect of the economy, the ones driving the economy, then there shall be increase in investment because there is the likely a high likelihood of increase in the interest earned. Then in the long run, it will be more efficient. So economy will be more efficient. Why? Because we are saying that in the long run, there shall be equilibrium. You see? There shall be equilibrium. You see? It's when you're talking about a situation which is equilibrium, as we have said, it's a state of rest. You see? So in the long run, there is the positive advantage such that there shall be what? The issues to do with the efficiency in the market. Then the next one is that foreign wages. Foreign wages. Why are we saying there is foreign wages? Assuming now there is minimum price control, and we say the minimum price control, or assuming now the government have said that now we are increasing the, we will fix certain products from probably 100 to 150. Of course, you as employer, you ought to increase the wages of your employees to cater these changes. Is it? That's true. But when now there is decrease in the prices, there is increase in the investment, the market forces are the ones which are determining the prices that we shall be determining, then of course wages will increase, will reduce. And when wages reduce and investment have increased, of course there shall be increase in what? Employment. Is it? Increase in employment. Increase in the employment. Unlike the other one, whereby one of the disadvantages is that there is high possibility that there shall be an increase in the unemployment. But the consequences of price liberalization shall be an increase in the unemployment. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Are we understanding everything? I'm hoping that we are understanding. Then the next thing that we shall be talking about is about the role of agriculture or price determination in agriculture. Price determination in agriculture. Price determination in agriculture. Price determination in agriculture. And when you're talking about the price determination of agriculture, one thing that we should know is about the role of agriculture in the economy. The role of agriculture, role of agriculture, role of agriculture, the economy. I believe you all know what agriculture is and which are some of the rules of agriculture that you know. Number one is Kipchumba. You come from Majan Chai, please. From maize. Now, what's the rule of now maize? We have just lost our online student. So what's that rule of that agriculture in the economy, or what does they assist in the economy? Yes. What does that assist? One is employment. Is it? It have employed many people. Is it? Yes, employment or creation of employment. They have employed some people. Is it? Yes. Allow me to come. I think we have lost our online student. Tapotea sisi. Patiko vai. Ripotea. And when we are talking about the issue to do with the rule of agriculture, number one, we have been told here by our Renard Fred here that it creates employment, is it? And number two is that it's a source of input for industry. Source of input for industries. Is it? And number three is on the issue to do with and so when you're talking about the issue to do with the source of input to the agriculture industries or to the industry, you shall find that there are some industries which 100% they rely on the agriculture output. Is it? Such as the, yes? Yes, leather industry. Yes, thank you. Another one which relies 100% from the industry. So bread processing, is it? Maize processing, chips. It was China chips. Oh, chips zinaletanga hata crips, is it? I saw. Huh? Yes. Then the other one is improves climatic condition, improves climatic condition, improves climatic conditions. Like for instance, for those areas whereby there is agriculture and those places whereby there is no agriculture, where would you desire to live? Where do you desire to create your Paris there or your Bulgaro? Rodua. Where have you come from? Your home. Ushago sasa. Wapi? Garissa. Sasa nikuulize. Unaweza taka kuishi Garissa ama uende Murang'a? Eh? You see? You see? Because the climatic condition is somehow favorable there. Is it? Yes, yes. Unlike places whereby there is that issue to do with dryness and what have you. The next one is it provides a market for industry goods or provides a market for industry goods. Provides a market for industry goods. Then next one is that source of revenue through taxation. Source of revenue. Source of revenue through taxation. Of course, this maize, but the maize production, they are not taxed. You see, are they taxed? Really? Are they taxed? They're not taxed. Actually, in Kenya, you can't understand. And why do we tax tea and coffee? You see? And why do we tax tea and coffee? But when it comes to maize, you're not taxing them. You see, kinaya. Still. Yes, yes. Another one is that earns foreign exchange for country when exported, and foreign exchange, and foreign exchange, and foreign exchange. That is through export. Like for instance, there is export of coffee. Like for our place, one of the main cash crop is coffee. But yes, there is coffee. Who comes from the coffee area? Like me. Yes? Which is the cash crop there at home? Okay. It's very it's understandable. The cash crop. Majani chai. Coffee. Maize. Okay. Yes? Tea and coffee. Lucy. Yes? Maize. Gamia. All what? Yes? But kuna damia. Sindio? Hata kuna mazi. Ichuba is maize. Where? Okay, sugarcane. Okay, it is understandable. Maize. For those of you who come from maize or sugarcane, you can afford what? You can afford the issue to do with what? Do with sugar or maize flour, not having. When was the last time that you drank pure coffee? Pure coffee. Half kg, it's around 250. When? Never. Some things. Anyway, then the next thing that we shall be talking about is problem facing the agriculture sector. Problems facing the agriculture sector. And some of the problems that are facing the agriculture sector include the following. Number one, we have the perishability of agriculture produce. Perishability of agriculture produce. Perishability of the agriculture produce. Number two, you have the raw prices for agriculture products. Raw prices. Yes, you shall find that sometimes I usually pity these people from Nyahururu. Is it? I pity them. See, I'm not from that place, but I usually pity them. Do you feel that pinch? See, yes. Do you feel them? You see, kuna watu hawa wamesema kuta kunanga cash crop. Do you pity them? Those guys also faith. So kuna. Do you pity? to those guys. Nyahururu. Watakuwa ati, zinaitwaje hizi magunia? A sack this size, it's been of potatoes is being sold less than 2,000. Na ikikuja huku nauza 8,000, 10,000, you see? It's a really a pity. Then competition from synthetic material. Competition from synthetic materials. Like for instance, there is a vast discussion about the issue to do with the GMOs. Is it? Yes, yes. See? Then the next one is the issue to do with the seasonal production. Seasonal production. In short, what we are talking about here is relying on rain-fed product. Rain-fed products. For the tea, it's a continuous process, I think so. But maize, is it seasonal? It is seasonal. Yes. Yes, it's seasonal. It's seasonal. Yes, yes, it's seasonal. So unless we come up from that price, then I don't know what shall happen. Then lastly, we have the price instability. Last year was one of the best years for the coffee farmers. Is it? 1 kg was being bought at most of the places. It was from 90 all the way to 128. The best one that I had was a 128. Although there are others whom produces for themselves even at 200. Ours was allowed, is it 107? 107 or so. You see? And so you can see that for a farmer who had like 10,000 kilograms, and this is per kg, he or she was earning appropriate, is it? Because the production cost of things like coffee is too low, is it? It's too low, you see? Yes. But this year, I don't know. Seeing them crying, I don't know why. I have a perspective that they will cry. I don't know. But kutakuwa sawa, Jack. Sidio? Kutakuwa sawa. Then the next one that we shall talk about is about the issue to do with the causes of price fluctuation, causes of price fluctuation, that is for the product, for the agriculture products. Why do we usually find that there is what? There is fluctuation in the agriculture product. Number one is the natural factors, is it? Things to do with the diseases, and what are they? Is it? Diseases, pests, you see? Weather conditions, is it? Yes. Say natural factors, including diseases, pests, among others. 2, we have perishability. Of course, some of the products, or almost all of the products, are hot, are perishable, such as milk, such as cabbages, is it? They are so perishable, is it? That's why we need the processing factories in the rural areas. Then, when you're talking about the issue to do with the short run, there is inelastic supply. At short run, right? Short run, there is inelastic of the agriculture product. In the short run, there is inelastic supply of the agriculture products. Then next one is that the equilibrium prices are difficult to attain in the agriculture sector. Equilibrium prices or equilibrium point, equilibrium points is difficult to attain in the agriculture sector. Yes, that's all about the issue to do with the causes of price fluctuations in the agriculture sector. Then the next thing that we shall discuss is about the application of disequilibrium analysis. Application. And when we are talking about the application of the disequilibrium analysis, the application in the cobweb theorem, which enables us to trace out a fine path from the disequilibrium pattern toward an equilibrium position. So the application of this analysis or the determination of the equilibrium is in the cobweb theorem. And in this cobweb theorem, you write, and it enables us to trace, is everything okay? Everything is okay? Why are you not writing? Ama unashika kila kitu? Ama unashika kila kitu sawa? It enables us to trace out a fine path. It enables us to trace a fine path, enables us to trace a fine path, enables us to trace a fine path from disequilibrium pattern toward an equilibrium position, from a disequilibrium pattern to an equilibrium position, an equilibrium position. So we are just tracing up from a disequilibrium pattern to an equilibrium position. This was used in US, that is in the tracing of the equilibrium pattern between the prices and the quantity demanded in the market for the pigs and hogs. Or hogs. Hogs nasini kama pigs. Is it? Hogs, yes. Yes. We are finalizing by talking about the government actions to stabilize income. Government actions to stabilize income and prices of agricultural product. Government actions to stabilize income and prices of agricultural product. Government actions to stabilize income and prices of agricultural product or produce or product. Which are now these government strategies or actions? And number one, we have talked about it, it's price control. Price controls is number one. We have extensively discussed about the price controls. Is there any other need to write anything else? No. Number 2 is through diversification of production. Diversification of production. What is diversification? Diversification is a way of coming up with different variety of products. Is it? Coming up with different variety of products. That is the crops. Coming up with different variety of products. The next one is better production or shortage methods of crops. So the government can try to avail a better production and what have you, not just to stabilize incomes and prices. What about the issue to do with what? Shows, agriculture shows, is it? It's not there in those notes. Agriculture shows and exhibition. What about the issues to do with finding a market? Is it? Finding a market. See? Finding a market. On behalf of who? On behalf of the producers. Yes. What about protection? Fad assistant, you see? Or availing of fads, you see? Or operations of fad. They can avail some fads, is it? What about the buffer stock? Buffer stock ni wakati, assuming kuko na high production of maize, then the government buys it and stores it for it to be used at when there is some shortages. Sasa, yes, yes. Another way that nanimeacha. Yes. Yes, importation, but it's carried into this, is it? Finding a market, be it local, or protecting the local. Yes, protecting the local. Protecting the local, agricultural. Thank you, agricultural industries. Is it? Another one? You're done. Thank you. And actually, that's the end of the so-called huge topic known as the demand, supply, and determination of equilibrium. I shall set the notes after this, so as you can be having the notes. Any question for our honorary student? Am I audible from that end? Am I audible from that end? We are done with the second topic. The third topic was consumer theory. Is it? Consumer theory. Consumer theory, or theory of the consumer behavior. Consumer theory, or theory of the consumer behavior. But before then, you can check some of the questions that have been tested onto the same. You can go and check them and see whether you are able to do them. Is it in that topic? That is on May of 2019. Question 2B. November of 2020. On 1C. Later on, I will give the answers of this, so kindly make sure that you will read. Is it? You go through them. May of 2021. May of 2021. Question 1B. May of 2021. Question 2C. Some of them are just a repetition of what I've just written there, so I'm just finding something which is new. November of 2018. Question 1C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. November of 2016. November of 2016. Question 1A. May of 2016. Question 1B. Last three, we have this question. That is September of 2015. September of 2015. Question 5C. Let me go through those questions. Or later on, give the answers. When should I give the answers? Before the weekends or by Saturday? Is it? That can be the assignment. Nimpatie kama assignment. Lucy is always no cut, no assignment. Tunafaa tu tusome kama tume ufai kuwa the class rep. Sabu, we shall keep these people so comfortable. You see? Yes. Nimpatie hii kama assignment. I should expect this. Should I? Yes? Yes? Sidia. These questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them. Today, tomorrow, what? Should I expect it on Monday? Monday is good, is it? Yes. One of you should come for the full scopes for each. Yes. Actually, this is how, if you have these questions, this is how the examination will come. So test yourself. I know it will require you to think honestly speaking, let me tell you, this is not an easy one. I believe we will have to discuss it. That's how, yes. This is how the examination will look like. Right together? Yes, yes. So, we are done with that topic. Somebody is asking me a question here. Let me see. Please, sir, would you mind sending the notes of the first class? I'm sending the notes after this class. Is it? Yes. On a group called Foundation, April 2023. Is it? Yes, yes. All the notes I'm sending after this class. So we are done with that topic. Actually, it's one of the biggest topic. The others within a class or two shall be done. The others within a class or two, we shall be done with them. But the question here comes, are we understanding? Because that's the key thing of us being here. Okay? Physical student. Dennis, are we understanding? Chuba Molkomen, are we understanding? Where? Faith. Sawa. Ibrahim. Rusi. Jack the Giant Slayer. Sharon. Is it? As Enduta. They're good. And where is Emmanuel God with us? Okay. Consumer theory. Or theory of consumer behavior. Are we together? Theory of consumer behavior. Theory of consumer behavior. And when you're talking about the theory of the consumer behavior, you're just trying to come up with a hypothesis of what now the consumer does. Right together. When faced with the challenges with of choices, we say that economics is a social science that tries to study the issue to do with the limited resources. We have numerous wants, whereby we are trying to maximize the well-being of ourselves. Right together. And so, when you're talking about the consumer theory, it's just that an attempt to give an explanation to the consumer's behavior when faced with the problem of choices. Actually, that's all about the consumer behavior. You're just trying or attempting to explain. If now this is a consumer who is faced with numerous choices, see, what shall be his or her behavior? It's like I gave you 1,000 and I tell you, you go and either buy clothes or food or ujipeleke out or where the funky and whatever, and you have only 1,000. You see, you only have 1,000. You see, ni kidogo sana. 1,000 is just small amount of money, is it? And so now that way of now attempting to explain how now you have different choices and you're trying to examine the consumer behavior. That's all about this hypothesis. Theory is a hypothesis or a well studied conclusion. So what shall happen? So in short, you can write to say consumer theory is an attempt to give an explanation, is an attempt to give an explanation, to the consumer's behavior, to the consumer's behavior, when faced with the problem of choices. When faced with the problem of choices. So just attempting to give an explanation to the issue to do with the consumer's behavior when they are faced with the numerous, when they are faced with the problem of choices. And it is an explanation as to why the consumer chooses to spend his income the way he does. You see? Like bona sasa, ulipopewa pesa, were, ukaamua kununua hiyo kiatu, na sio kununua subshooter. See? Yes, yes. So why? This is what we shall be learning here. Bona sasa nani? Jack the Giant Slayer aliamua kuja na anunue hood instead of anunue nini? A coat, a official. See? Bona ukanunua nini? Hiyo miwani instead of the others. Ukanunua hii around instead of the other one. Bona ukanunua the black. Like it's unfinished. Ama na zinaitangwa aje hizi zenye ziko nini? Yes, they are ragged or they are ragged. A tight ragged instead of ununue ka dress kana kufika hapa. Anyway. So it is an explanation as to why the consumer uses his finances or his incomes the way he does. Right, together. And two main theories explain the consumer behavior. So the two main theories explain the consumer behavior. And number one, we have something we call the Cardinalist Theory. Cardinalist Theory. And number two, we have Ordinalist Theory. Ordinalist Theory. Ordinalist Theory. These are the two theories that we shall be extensively be exhausting into this syllabus, and probably by, when is our next class? Thursday. Friday from 11 to 1. Yes, that we shall extensively discuss on Friday from 11 to 1, and we finalize it. Next week, God willing, we shall be having a new topic. All together. Yes, yes. So before we go on, there are some things that you should know, or some definitions that you should know. And number one is called utility. Utility. Number one is called utility. And when you're talking about utility, all what you're talking is that satisfaction that is derived from consumption of a given product. Is it? The satisfaction derived from consumption of a given commodity. And together, utility. And together. It's like, for instance, I believe it's almost lunchtime. And for those who are online currently, you are all over in the atmosphere, you are feeling the fragrance, smell of the meals that are being prepared. And so when you eat, you see, probably the kuku, the pizza, choma or the what. I believe nakulanga hizo, and that's why hiyo mnakujanga kama mumechoka. That's why na tulicheck. So the satisfaction that shall be derived from you consuming that commodity is regarded as utility. Are you together? Yes. Then the next thing that you should know is about the marginal utility. Marginal utility. And when you're talking about a marginal utility, it's an extra satisfaction that is attained from consuming an extra unit of a commodity. An extra satisfaction derived from consumption of an extra unit of a commodity. It's like ukikula nini? Pizza. Yes. Good. Nasema kwa amekula pizza sana. Sina ukiuma ya kwanza, mara ya kwanza, there is that satisfaction ambayo huwa una receive. Ukiuma mara ya pili, you see, there is that extra satisfaction from consumption of an extra unit, and that's what is regarded as the issue to do with marginal utility. We shall discuss more, because when you're talking about the marginal utility, it decreases as you consume more. So, like yenye tunaenda lunch, ukiuma kijiko ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, ya nne, ukifika ya 10 chaanza kushiba. Sio? Lakini kuna watu sisi hatuwezi shiba na ya 10, sio? Tuko ya 20 ama ya 30. You see? Hiyo 2, 3. Let me see. I don't think there's something that you can add to that. We can start from Cardinalist Theory. Cardinalist Theory. Just trying to explain. Bona huyu akafanya hivi, juu ya hivi, is it? And there are some assumptions in those assumptions into this cardinalist theory before we further go to the definition. Number one, you can write the issue to do. Number one is consumer rationality. Consumer rationality. Consumer rationality. When you're talking about the consumer rationality, we assume that the consumer is here to maximize his utility. Are you together? Consumer, we assume that the consumer is to maximize his utility. Are you together? That's the assumption number one. Number two is about utility is measurable through the utility is measurable. Like that, utility is measurable. Ni kumaanisha kuwa unaona hiyo satisfaction yako tunaweza ipima. Of course, na tushaanza kusema hapana. Then lastly, marginal utility is constant. Marginal utility is constant. That extra satisfaction, kama ni extra satisfaction of 5 utils, then there shall be a consistence of 5, 5, 5, 5. That's how. Yes. So, what is cardinalist utility approach. Cardinalist utility approach, or you can define there. It's also referred as, it is also referred to as, Marshalling approach to utility. Marshalling approach to Marshalling approach to utility. You see, it is stated that utility can be measured through utils. Can be measured in units called utils. Units called together. That's all about the issue to do with the definition part. And when you're talking about the measuring of the marginal utility, or the formula of the marginal utility, S shall be equals to change in the total utility, change in the total utility, divided by the change of the quantity. Change in the total utility, divided by the change in the. Kwa tunasema hivi, yes, the marginal utility decreases with the increase in the consumption. Ona hiyo extra satisfaction. Nataka tu, I just need us to understand this in a layman's language. Assuming you have food here, is it? You have food here. I believe all of us, in one way or the other, we are hungry, unless you are fasting. See? Do you fast? There is something like fasting in, yes. So fasting is appropriate even to our friends of friends. Thank you. Unless you are fasting, assuming now here, it is what? It is what? It is lunch, and you have a plate of rice. Is it? When you pick one spoon and you eat, your satisfaction starts to increase. You see? But itafika peak. Ianze to reduce. Is it? Your utility or your satisfaction, of course, inaanzaga na ku increase. Like, ukikula kijiko moja, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, you see? Your utility still continue, but inafikaga price, inaanza kushiba. Is it? And then your utility starts to decrease. Is it? Now feel no, my level of satisfaction is reducing. Is that the norm? Is it? But when you're talking about the marginal utility, ukikura, it reduces. Your extra satisfaction always reduces. Are together? Yes, yes. I don't know whether we have a diagram here whereby we can measure that. I think we can write it as row of diminishing marginal utility, row of diminishing marginal utility, row of diminishing marginal utility. We shall just present it into a diagram whereby we have utility here. And here we have the quantity. Have the quantity. Whereby there is an increase of the here. total utility. Then in here, this is the marginal utility. Marginal utility. This is the total utility, but this one at here it is total as a marginal utility. You say, just write this note in those notes that I shall be sending later. So you say the rule of diminishing marginal utility, the rule of diminishing marginal utility states that the rule of diminishing marginal utility states that the rule of diminishing marginal utility states that the additional benefit which a person derives, the additional benefits which the person derives from a given, increase in stock, of a commodity, diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. I've said the rule of diminishing marginal utility states that the additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase in stock diminishes with every increase in stock that he already has. And we have generally explained that. Then let's talk about the issue to do with see. In short, what we are talking about, I think we can draw a diagram. Or a graph. We can just have something here of sawdust. You can have sawdust here. And have total utility. Have marginal utility. All what you are saying is when the sawdust consumption is 0, the total utility is 0, as well as the other one is 0. You know, utility. When you consume 1, total utility is 4. The other one is 4. You consume 2, 7, 3. You consume 3, have 9. You have 3 or 2. When you consume 4, if it's possible, 10, then 1. Consume 5, you have 10, then this is probably 0, is it? Consume 6, you can reduce 9, negative 7, 8, negative 2, 8, 7, negative 3. Yes, like that. That's what we are saying. the law of diminishing marginal utility. That as you consume, then your extra satisfaction decreases. So, like kama ulikuwa ushibe na nini 5, ukikunywa moja, of course ina reduce kutoka sasa 5 to 4. You see? Yes. Yes. Let's talk about the consumer equilibrium. This point, consumer equilibrium. And when you're talking about the issue to do with, oh, are we done with this table? Yes, let be done. So, when you're talking about the consumer equilibrium, in a layman's language, you shall find that when you have some income or you have some money, you can either do these two things. You can either buy a commodity or do what? Or not buy that commodity. Is it? That's the layman's way. Meaning that at equilibrium, it's a situation whereby now your marginal utility of that commodity will be equal to the price of that commodity, whereby you're feeling that you are satisfied in such a way that I can use this money to buy something. You see? It's like, if this pen is probably 100 bob, is it? This pen is 100 bob, and I know it's 100 bob. And then I find that this is 200 bob. There is high likelihood that if I have other means of consuming that amount, I won't buy this pen. I will go to the next alternative way of solving my problem of having a pen. But what if I find that my expectations meet the market? Is it? I will do what? I will probably, or there is high probability that I will buy this. Is it? But when it's more than that, probably I can do away with it, or even if I will buy it, will affect other commodities that I will purchase. I will tend to, kama na nilikuwa na ninataka 5, I'll just buy 2. Is it? Yes. That's all about when you're talking about the consumer equilibrium. In such a situation whereby now we are saying that if now we have a consumer who have some certain income, he can either buy or retain the money. Are we together? Meaning that at equilibrium, it is a situation whereby if I'm to buy a commodity X, is it? A commodity X. At equilibrium, it is that situation whereby the marginal utility of X will be equal to the price of X. You can write, let's write that, let's write. The consumer can either buy a commodity or retain his income. Consumer can either buy a commodity or retain his income. That is in a simple model of a single commodity. In a simple model, in a single commodity, in a simple model, in a single commodity. At this stage, the consumer is at equilibrium the consumer is at equilibrium when the marginal utility of that commodity is equal to its price. Is equal to its price. Is equal to its price. You can say, for instance, marginal utility of X is equal to PX. This is at equilibrium. That's the consumer equilibrium. Assuming that the marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X, assuming the marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X, we say the consumer will maximize his or her satisfaction, assuming where the marginal utility of X is greater than the price of X. The consumer will maximize his satisfaction by buying more units of the commodity X, by buying more commodities of commodity of X. It's like you're going to a shop, you see? Then you know that 1 kg of rice is 150. Is it? Then you had 500 bob or 450. You had 450. To buy what? The rice. Of course, to your mind, there was a ultimate satisfaction of you buying the 3 kgs. Is it? And then you go and find that the prices of rice is 100 bob. Putting all other factors constant, what shall you do? There is very likely that you shall buy now 4 kgs. Is it? That's the norm. Is it? Yes, yes. That's what we are talking about here. Then the next assumption is when there is, or when the marginal utility of X is less than the price, then you say the consumer will increase his utility or satisfaction. The consumer will increase his utility or satisfaction by reducing or by cutting down the quantity of good in X, keeping more of his income concept. The consumer will tend to increase his utility or satisfaction by reducing the amount to purchase of X, keeping his income concept. It's like you're going to buy what? You're going to buy rice of 150 kgs. Then upate kwa TCO 150, saizi ni 200. Is it? Utanunua 3, utanunua 2 mbili na uweke na chwani. That's all. That's all actually about that. Then let's write the rule of equimarginal utility. Rule of equimarginal utility. Rule of equimarginal utility. Rule of marginal utility. And when you're talking about the rule of equimarginal utility, it's more or less the same as the sum total. of all your satisfaction and what have you. Is it? Which should always sum total to 1, meaning that the row of marginal utility is always equals to 1, and it is the sum total of all of the commodities purchased at different marginal utility. That is marginal utility of X divided by the price of X plus marginal utility of Y divided by the price of Y, all the way to the marginal utility of nth. Marginal utility of nth divided by the price of nth will give us 1. Will give us the full utility. 1. That's the rule of equi-marginal utility. Kuna mtu atanitumia picha ya hii, si ndio? Marginal utility. Then add it here. Add here, this is positive, this is negative. This is positive, that is increase of utility. This is the reduction of the utility. That is the derivation of demand curve for consumer. Then the last thing that we shall talk about here is all about the issue to do with the criticism of the Cardinalist theory. Or somewhat criticism of Cardinalist theory. And some of the criticism include what? We said that some of the assumptions is that utility is measurable. Can you measure your satisfaction? No. So number 1 is that utility cannot be measured. Utility cannot. Number 2, we have the marginal utility of money is not constant. Is it? Marginal utility of money is not constant. Marginal utility of money is not constant. Of course, it's not constant. Sorry for that. Then, law of diminishing marginal utility is based on introspection. Sorry. Law of diminishing sorry, the same. It's based on the introspection. Introspection means what? Your personal what? Your personal perspective. Is it? Then lastly, the rule does not apply everywhere. Yes. And that's it about the criticism. Like, you cannot measure utility on a layman's language, that you are measuring by satisfaction. The marginal utility of money is not constant. Extra satisfaction is not constant. The rule of diminishing marginal utility is based on introspection or personal experiences and what have you. Then the rule does not apply like for instance, let's talk about money. Is it? Let's talk about what? Let's talk about money, but let's talk about money. Is it? Kipchumba, let me ask you. Your satisfaction, if I give you 1,000 and then another 1,000 and then another 1,000 and another 1,000, will your satisfaction reduce? No, you shall, you see? So it cannot apply to everywhere. See? That's why always you shall find that money is one thing that the satisfaction cannot be exhausted. Even if I give you 1 million, now, cannot say now, from today on, I don't want anything else, because now I have earned 1 million. You see? Yes, yes. So forth. Any questions so far? Any question? Our class, next class, that is on Thursday or Friday, we shall start from Cardinalist Theory. Let's read. This is now the third topic. Make sure that you have read all the way to where we are. Don't rush on the last days, Kaitri. Start now. The earlier, the better for you. You shall always be doing yourself a favor. I'm wishing you all the best. It's the end of the class.